Hey everybody, Jedi Jack Luther. It's Wednesday morning here. Thought I'd do a quick little video here. Now that I know how to upload a video to YouTube and it can be longer than like 15 minutes, I don't have to rush on anything. I know a lot of my videos in the past seemed like they were rushed. YouTube only allowed me to upload only about 15 minutes worth of video. And if I made a video that was longer than 15 minutes, it wouldn't upload it. I'd had to cut it. So I figured out how to upload to YouTube now, and it's longer than 15 minutes. So I just want to go over some stuff I got in the mail. So the other day I was looking for, so right now the vintage collection I have is really nice, but I've run into the blockade brick wall problem that a lot of people have if they're collecting, but they don't have the income or the finances to really go all the way. Now there are some people out there, and I'm not saying anything bad about anyone, they have the money to go out and collect the high price vintage stuff. They can get the ships that are almost in the box and mint and complete and in great shape, and they can go get all the figures, even like the hard to find ones. They have the money to invest in that. I actually do not. So the figures I have are like what I call common figures. They're figures that are around, $10 or less, basically. That's the ones I've been getting. Sometimes they have weapons, sometimes they don't. I'm not really worried about it. I think one of the more expensive ones I put money into was Leia in her bounty hunter disguise. I had to buy her, and then I had to buy her weapon separately, and that was probably one of the more spendier figures. So with the vintage collection kind of sealed up for a bit, I can't really do too much with it. I decided to go into the 90s, back when I was in college, and Kenner was bought out by Hasbro, and they were running the Kenner name and brought out what they called the Power of the Force line. We all remember this line, especially me and my friends. We were in college, and we were real excited when they released new Star Wars figures, and they came out and they had a little more articulation. They could turn at the waist and everything, and the stormtroopers could turn their heads, and they began releasing characters we never got in the vintage line. Or if we got them, we couldn't afford them. Like for instance, they made a Power of the Force Luke Skywalker disguised as a stormtrooper, which you could just pick off the shelf. But now, the vintage one from 1985 is worth in the hundreds. I mean, just getting the figure alone will set you back over $100. If you get it complete, you're shelling out, a car payment. And most people don't have that kind of money. I personally not worried too much that I don't have that figure. So I've been going to Power of the Force line because for the most part, the figures are really cheap. If you do some good hunting and some good bargain searching, you're going to pick up some good figures cheap. And you can really populate. For instance, if you look behind me here, I got my cantina set up. I have an army of stormtroopers. One of those stormtroopers I reviewed, I think about a month or so ago, was the stormtrooper in the deluxe outfit with the jetpack, with the claw and everything, and he's up there. There's the Han Solo disguised as a stormtrooper from the Kellogg's promotion. There's a Han Solo and stormtrooper disguise from what they just released at Target. I picked him up. But majority of the Power of the Force stormtroopers that are behind me are actually Luke Skywalker disguised as a stormtrooper. Luke is very cheap to pick up. I mean, $5 to $8 per figure, even on card. It can be if you find them. The only ones that get a little spendy is if he comes with his freeze frame, with a little frame, the self picture from the movie. But even at that, that's like $8 to $10. It's still not too much money. Most of those are Lukes that are disguised in stormtrooper gear. They're easy, they're cheap to pick up. You put the helmet on it, you really can't tell the difference. And he makes a great stand-in stormtrooper when you need to build an army. Which brings us to what I got today. So I was hunting a standard stormtrooper from the Power of the Force line. They run $10, $11, $12 because it's a troop builder. Troop builder figures are always notoriously, go for a little bit more money. Well, instead of spending 10 to 12 bucks on one figure, I spent $12 and got 4 figures. That's $3 a piece. You can't beat that deal. So we're going to start with what I picked up. It was a collection of them. So I did get my Stormtrooper on Power of the Force. This is the second wave with the green lightsaber stripe. If you recall, it was red and orange on the original one, but and he's got the reflective holofoil sticker on for the picture. If you remember correctly, they started with a regular picture, then they added a holofoil sticker, and then certain characters got the freeze frame, which were little little frame things. The little slides that you could put in like a projection viewer. In the 1990s, not many people had those left. I don't know what they were thinking, but hey, there was an offer that you could get a replica version of Luke's binocular things that he uses in New Hope to look for R2 and stuff, and you could slide them in there and hold it up to the light and like a picture viewer thing. So we got our Stormtrooper here. Really nice. Stormtroopers are always pretty when they're nice and white. They've not been played with. You could have told these were not smokers. These did not stink when they came out of the package. And the smoke would have gotten into these packages and turned them yellow. I mean, that would have ruined the figure. But he's in there, complete with both his guns. Now this figure could have been 10 to 12 bucks by himself, but for 12 bucks, I got 4 figures. So we're gonna see. That's just a great deal. Like I said, if you hunt around, you can probably find it. If you put in Power of the Force lot, you'll probably come across like someone selling 6 to 8 figures, and the price is phenomenal. You can pick up, but because people might want one particular figure, they don't want the rest of them, but they'll buy the entire lot just to get that one figure, and they'll have the rest for whatever. So let's see what else is. All right, also on the green card, we have Power of the Force, the Jawas. This was a great little set because instead of giving you one small figure, they gave you 2. So if you bought a bunch of these, you could have an army of Jawas in like practically no time. If you bought 5 of these, you had 10 Jawas. You had a small army of them in no time. They were built. You can't see it here because I don't have a way to shine a light there. If you shine a light, oh wait a minute, now it's kind of, there you go. See the one here in the bottom I'm pointing to? You can see his eyes light up. They built, isn't that creepy? Yeah, look at that. That's lighting up. I can see that from here. That's pretty cool. What they did is they built translucent yellow plastic into the head. So when a light shines on from top, their eyes light up like they do in the movie. So that is just neat. I wonder if I can do that again. Can I do that again? There we go. Ooh, teeny! I love that. Side note, when my wife sends me a text message, it's a Jawa sound. And everyone's like, if they know Star Wars, they're like, I know that sound. And if they don't know Star Wars, like, what is that sound? And it's a Jawa. The reason I picked a Jawa is not because my wife is short. It's because she used to work at a job where it was a scrap metal recycling facility. So I'm thinking that's what Jawas do, basically, scrap metal and recycling. So I figured it was really funny. And she enjoys it. She got a kick out because my wife she likes Star Wars too. All right, so here's another figure. This is figure number 3 from this. This one's really unique. So this is Luke Skywalker in his Bespin outfit. When he went to Bespin to fight Darth Vader, rescue his friends, didn't work out the way he thought it was. One thing you'll notice right off the bat, this is what's known as a foreign, or as I like to call it, a trilingual card. It's written in like several different languages. These aren't particularly rare. They may go for a little bit more than a regular card would. But and all in all, it's not. If this was really worth a lot of money, he would not put it in a set and labeled it for 12 bucks. So Luke comes with his blue lightsaber and his gun. You'll notice, and we noticed this too, the guns were bigger than they were originally. If you get one of these figures and you put an original like Han Solo blaster next to this one, you'll see this is much bigger. A huge gun. I guess Hasbro said, hey, they're not losing weapons this time. That thing's going to be big. Luke also has a removable hand, so you can mimic the duel with Darth Vader where he loses his hand. This is the first figure that I know of that has this, that they started with this. They did make another, excuse me, had a burp. They did make a Luke Skywalker figure. I believe it was the Saga line, where he came with a plastic rubbery weather vane that could attach with a suction cup to surfaces. He could hang off of it, and he came with a hand that cut off to mimic what his battle. But this is the first one that actually did that, and this is what, and this also is one of our freeze frames. So light, will you put light through here, and you can kind of see it. You can kind of see the image that's on there. There's enough light pouring through this, you can see the image of Luke on Bespin. When I picked a lot of these up back in the 90s, we were collecting these pretty hard. I actually don't remember ever seeing this one, to be honest with you. I never saw this one. Couldn't tell you if I would have picked it up. I might have, for that removable hand action. That alone is a good selling point. I mean, you give me an extra action feature there, but to come with a lightsaber and a gun, that's pretty neat. There is some kind of leaflet behind him. I think it's an offer for what I was telling you about, to order a replica of Luke's binoculars that you can put these slides in so you can hold them up and look at them. But I'm not opened this one yet. I don't know if I will open these. I have several carded figures in a box on my countertop. I like to call these figures rainy day figures. And let me explain that. You get to that point, you want to go out and buy something, a figure, so you can bring it home and open it up. And we all want to do that. A lot of people keep stuff on the card because they think, value and to keep it mint. I generally do open up my stuff because I want to display it. I want to put my hands on it. I want to physically grab it, put the weapons on it, display it, put it in battle scenes. That's the fun part of me as a collector and going through these toys. But I haven't opened up any of these yet because, like I said, these are what I call rainy day figures, which you get to the point where you want to open a figure, but you have no money. I mean, you're like literally broke, but you're craving just to open a figure out of a package so you can set it up. Rainy day figures. I keep them on hand, that when situations get tough, it's like, man, I just would love to have a figure. I could just open it up, start playing with something different right here. So these are rainy day figures. So let's go on to the fourth and final figure that was in this set. I bought. Now this is the Power of the Jedi. After the Power of the Force had several runs, they switched to the Power of the Jedi. These figures were a little bit more detailed, had more movability to them, had more accurate looking weapons. They weren't huge, Luke didn't have a gun that was bigger than his head. They were put in more battle poses and stances that you could, do stuff with. And this is from collection number 2, so there was already a collection number 1. So this one is as it's listed here, a security battle droid from the Phantom Menace. As you can see, he's in a standing pose holding his weapon. This is different than what you would normally see with a figure that was just standing there and his weapons are off to his side. He's just waiting to be opened. This one is already in a battle pose. It's ready to go. Take it out of the package, set it somewhere. It's already set up to start shooting at things. And they jointed, you can look at it, it's got jointed knees and elbows, and the head moves. They've increased the level of articulation so it could be more posable. They also came with a Jedi Force file. Now some of these came with, they were called flashback figures. They would be a current figure, but they come with a thing that said flashback, and when you pull the lever on it, it would change it. Like Darth Vader, his picture would change to Anakin Skywalker, and so on and so forth. Like Leia, with a flashback to Padme to represent what her character was in the prequels. This is a Jedi Force File, which is just a little pamphlet that you got telling you all about the character in the movie and stuff. Not particularly something I'd be interested in, nothing that thrilled me. This probably would have gone in the garbage. I never would have saved it. I would just after the figure. If I flip it to the back and put it, oh no, I can't get it on screen. I know, don't try to move your head sideways. I'm sorry about, let me see if here we go. So as you can see, they have newer characters and some of them were never made, especially Porkins there. That must have been really, I guess George Lucas thought that was a funny jab. What are we gonna name the big fat pilot in New Hope? Porkins. I don't know. But those were the 4 figures I got. I really was after the Stormtrooper, but I got some great figures to go with it. Probably one I could have done without was the Battle Droid, but I am not too worried about it. I now have a Battle Droid, and you know, who knows? Someone might see this and go, hey, I'd like to have that Battle Droid, and they contact me and they want to work a trade or something. You never know. I mean, these figures are here for my enjoyment. If I need to open one up to have a new figure to display for some reason, I have it. You know, I want to open the Stormtrooper and put him with the rest of the Stormtroopers, but then you kind of don't want to open it because it's in the package and it's in really great condition. So you have to figure that one out. So that was what came in the mail the other day. I get stuff every now and then. I'll probably have another video, another few weeks or so, you never know. And we'll go over some more stuff I got in. So until then, this is Jedi Jack Luther. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you next time. And, oh yeah, because, that's funny. They didn't even come in a box. They came in a mailer. It's like, I know I'm having trouble. No one ships anything in a box anymore. My show is going to go downhill just because the name of the show is What's in the Box, and I ain't been getting a box or nothing. Oh well, maybe I'll get a box sooner or later, because then a box will come in the mail. A box has got to come in the mail, because when it comes in the mail, then we can figure out what's in the box.